Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the Wristwatch News Channel. I'm Nick, and today we've got in some straps from Artem. Artem have sent in a couple of straps for the channel to be able to review. I do not need to send them back, but be rest assured that the review is totally unbiased, just my opinion on what I think of these straps. If you're new to the channel, come on in, find a seat. We talk about watches and watch accessories here, and if you like your watches, well, you're in a good place. Returning subscribers, thank you so much as always for coming back again and again, and thank you again for getting me past 1,000 subscribers. PJ Andrews was the winner of my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and he won the S4 Seestern S434. And that winged its way all the way over to the good old US of A. And here's a picture of it on his very fine wrist. He's after a decent tan leather strap for it, actually. So if you know of any decent strap options for him, pop them in the comments. If you regularly watch my videos, you'll know that Artem had contacted me about doing a review previously. But after a little bit of a miscommunication, they basically dropped contact. But it seems that they do watch our reviews because after mentioning it in another review, they got in contact again. Artem straps, you could say, aren't particularly cheap, but they're not excessively expensive either, especially compared to the straps being put out by the brands themselves. Compared to the brands, they're an absolute bargain. But the question remains, are they worth it? So let's have a look at them and find out. All right, so Artem sent two straps, one blue, one black, both with white stitching. They are from their loopless sailcloth range and came on double pusher deployant clasps. I mentioned in the intro a bit of miscommunication between Art and myself when they first reached out to me. And what happened is that I asked if they'd ever been accused of homaging Omega straps, as the sailcloth line in particular has very strong Omega similarities. Now, I asked Artem this as they are very open that they are influenced by Omega's designs. And in the watch space, there's the constant argument of what constitutes a homage. And I wondered if it had ever applied to straps as well. And I believe at the time, though, Artem thought I was accusing them of just outright copying Omega, which I wasn't, as Artem straps definitely have their own identity. I've owned 3 Omega Aquaterras over the years. I had a blue dial 38.5mm Aquaterra, a 41mm steel dial with the blue indexes and hands, and then I had a newer white dial 38mm. And I've bought the rubber straps to go with them all as well. They've all been moved on since. But these Artem straps do remind me of those rubber straps, especially the double pusher deployants that they have been sent with. So I've sent the loopless sailcloth straps with 20mm lug whips, and the 20mm tapers from 20mm down to 18mm at the clasp. They are padded and are roughly 5mm thick near the lugs, and then that tapers down to 2mm near the clasp. They have quick release spring bars and a soft silicone strip over the strap holes to reduce wear. The upper of the strap is made of a synthetic material embossed with a sailcloth pattern, and the underside is a natural leather base coated with a layer of natural rubber, and that rubber being caoutchouc. And yes, I did have to look up how to say caoutchouc. The loopless sailcloth straps, of course, have been designed to work with the Artem loopless deployant clasps. The clasp is very similar to what Omega offer, and it's a quality clasp that's made of stainless steel. I'm assuming 316L. It's very similar to Omega's look, with primarily brushed surfaces apart from the flanks on the top, which are high polish. It's got superb action to the double pushers and a very satisfying click-on closure. It's fully milled clasp with tight tolerances, meaning reduced wear for the strap that's attached to, and it has a subtle curvature to conform to the curvature of the wrist. I have to say, the quality of the clasp and the straps is excellent. I have a non-Omega rubber strap here that I bought from AliExpress a few years ago. I bought it to compare to the real one I had at the time. So I wanted to see, what you were getting for your money, basically. And as you can see, the clasp fits pretty much perfectly. And this non-Omega strap has been designed to emulate the Omega strap in its size, width. So the fact that the Artem clasp fits so perfectly is an testament that it would fit well on any Omega strap that you might have. But just as a warning that if you were thinking of picking up one of these rubber straps, it doesn't really fit to this watch. It's got very loose there at the lugs. Just in case you were thinking, oh yeah, that's a good match. A little history of Artem. Artem was founded in Adelaide by two friends with a passion for horology and eventually straps, as many of us do. They found at the time that the aftermarket sailcloth straps on offer weren't really up to par and decided to make their own, leading to Artem being born. Now, if you go over to their website, the link is in the description, whoever they have hired to do the marketing has been drinking the old luxury speak Kool-Aid a bit. Because here's a quote. Artem, it's not only a brand, it's a state of mind. Not sure about you, but I've never thought to myself, I'm in a particularly Artem state of mind today. But underneath all the luxury speak, they do have a good philosophy, which at its core is to offer what they are calling artisan, finely engineered straps that are not only functional, but comfortable. And having handled these straps, I have to say they've hit their brief well. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but if you are to buy a sailcloth strap, most companies that are selling sailcloth straps are not selling sailcloth. They are selling rubber straps that are then embossed with a sailcloth pattern. The reason being that sailcloth is not it's not a tactile material. It's not a nice material to have on your wrist. It's like with NATO straps. Like we use the term NATO to cover pretty much all nylon straps these days. But whereas NATO is a specific term to a specific type of strap, but it ends up being a catch-all term, doesn't it? And it's the same with sailcloth. So a lot of companies, they'll be selling a sailcloth strap, but it won't be made out of sailcloth. It's likely to be some form of nylon or rubber embossed, as is with the Artem. I personally think the rubber is probably a good option because it has then that water-resistant properties, which is kind of what you want from a sailcloth strap. So these straps, as I mentioned in the intro, aren't particularly cheap. The loopless sailcloth with the white stitching, quick release spring bars, and on a deployant clasp will set you back $214, and that's not including shipping. To put that in perspective, you can buy the Mayday sailcloth with off-white stitching, quick release spring bars, a standard tang and buckle from WatchGecko for about $58. And then the comparative strap from Artem would cost you around $98. So you've got a price difference there of about $40. I've compared those two, the WatchGecko and Artem, because the one from WatchGecko is a similar design. It's got it's embossed rubber for the sailcloth and then a leather base with a rubber coating. Although I'm a big fan of WatchGecko, and most of the straps in my strap collection are from either WatchGecko or Gekota, going by the quality of these loopless straps I have in front of me from Artem, and then solely judging the WatchGecko straps by its pictures, I would say the Artem does look like it's a better strap, but because I haven't got the WatchGecko one in hand, I can't say for certain. I haven't got a WatchGecko sailcloth strap to compare, but I do have a $20 AliExpress sailcloth strap, which I can compare to the Artem. Initially, there doesn't appear to be a great deal of difference between the straps. The embossing is done really well on both, but it's just like it is with watches. Although you might look at two watches and think, "Hey, these are basically the same." When you get them in hand, that's when you start to notice the subtle differences. And it's the same with the strap from Artem and the AliExpress strap. So the straps edge in on the Artem is very precise and clean. It's not quite the same on the Ali one. The leather base fits perfectly with the upper on the Artem, where it's a bit off on the AliExpress strap. The sailcloth embossed pattern has that satin sheen to it that just gives it that little bit of extra oomph on the Artem. And all these little details give you the impression that with Artem you've got a quality product, whereas with the $20 strap, it doesn't quite have that luxury feel. So if you're in the market for a high quality sailcloth strap, you can't really go wrong with Artem. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of how they're doing their pricing on the website, because you sort of add the strap and then the spring bars and the clasp all separately. And it's got that feeling of bumping up the price all the time. But the overall price being charged, especially for what I was sent, which was the loopless sailcloth strap with the deployant clasp and the quick release spring bars, you're getting nearly a mega level quality strap and clasp for $214, whereas Omega they'd want more than $800 for a similar setup easy. You could, of course, buy the AliExpress strap for 20 bucks, and it does the job perfectly well. But would you want to put it on a more expensive watch that you have, or even, like a mid-tier watch? You'd probably want something a bit nicer on there, I would have thought. Of course, it all depends on your spending sensibilities. But I will say that a quality strap will complement an expensive watch and will elevate a cheaper one. So there we go. That's Artem Straps. So in answer to the question that was posed at the end of the intro, are they worth it? And I'd say yes. They're not super cheap compared to what you could get from AliExpress or from a few other sellers. But then Artem Straps don't look or feel cheap. So I'd say you're getting what you pay for in this instance. You're paying that a little bit more, but you're getting that better strap. The link to their website, of course, is in the description. Let me know if you plan on picking one of these straps up. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and I really hope that you will join me for the next one. Cheers. Oh, no.